Depending on the weather, today is more than likely my last day in Umphang. If it's not pouring down tons of rain tomorrow morning, I'll be back on my scooter heading towards Mae Sot. I have things to do there, and I have no choice but to return right now. But on my last day, I'm going to stay off the scooter, I think, and just head out for a walk around some of the nearby countryside here in Umphang. Before I head out, I have a special request to show exactly where this pond is relative to my room at the guest house. So I'm going to do that right now. That's my room right behind me at the guest house, sort of a bungalow up on stilts back there. Here is the gate into the guest house property, into the courtyard. And right there, there's the pond. I told my friend the pond was just 3 seconds away, but he still wanted to see exactly what I meant by that. So there is the pond, and the pond is right across the street from the Umphang guest house. I guess this isn't going to be any kind of a traditional vlog because I don't have a clear idea of where I'm going or any sort of attraction. I'm not going anywhere in particular. And my main goal, actually, when I decided to go out for a walk, was to shoot some more kind of nature scenes using my other camera, my Panasonic LX10. So my idea is just to walk around, look for interesting rural sites, set up my Panasonic, and capture little video clips here and there. And I thought I might eventually stitch them all together into one longer video with ambient sound or perhaps with music underneath, I'm not sure. Looking back, there's my guest house again, right there. Pond is right there. And then right across this small road is quite a busy drainage ditch. And again, we've had so much rain here that all of these little streams and rivers are quite full. And I think on this side, you can get a sense of how much water is flowing. I hear some rapids anyway. Oh yeah, I guess the water gets funneled down into a narrower passageway right there. And that's producing a bit of a faster flow right here. I feel like I've been talking about rain and weather ever since I got here. And weather has got to be the most boring topic on the planet. But yeah, the rain really has affected every minute, every hour of my stay here. It's either not raining, about to rain, definitely raining. And I have to keep my eye on the clouds and monitor my progress and not get too far away when it looks like the heavy rain is going to hit. Because the forecast is calling for, I think, 99% chance of rain today. So you might as well just say 100% when you get that high. I'm just right across the road from the guest house still, and I'm presented with a scene like this, which is quite interesting. Very simple home, laundry out to dry, and on all sides. I mean, you'd swear you were out in the remote countryside, definitely a farming village. To be honest, I'd be very happy staying down here in Umphang for another week. But I have things to do back in Mae Sot. So it is time to go. Wow, look at that. I commented on another video the other day as I was scootering around about how you come across all of these quite large houses in the countryside, surprisingly large, where you would normally expect a small farming house, and then you see something like this. Do you see that? That series of rooftops towering over the corn off in that direction. It's really quite a striking scene. And my plan is to head down to this road up ahead somewhere and turn right, and then just sort of follow some small roads underneath that hillside over there, and then walk in a loop that will take me back into Umphang. Look at that scene right across the road here. Whoa, look at that dog. That's a horse. Hey there, horse. Come here. You're gonna come say hello? Come here. Come on. Look at this guy. And he's actually kind of friendly. Come on. Come here. He wants to come close, but no. He's had enough of me. Big dog. But what caught my eye was this scene right here. The same river running through Umphang. It just looks like it's coming out of a true jungle setting over there. Huh. I have no idea what this place is. In here, down this driveway. Sort of looks touristy, doesn't it? All of those signs and bright colors. So I'm going to do a quick Google Translate on this and see if I can figure out what this place might be. Oh, that took me by surprise. I thought that was a real squirrel at first. Just saw it out of the corner of my eye. This sign didn't produce anything in the way of information. I think it's just the name of the place. But when I Google translated this sign, it said something about a resort and stay. Use the word stay. So this is some kind of a hotel, guest house, resort, where in happier times it would be full of tourists. So that's what's down there. And they're lucky enough to have this jungle river running right beside their property. Well, I shot some video of my jungle river, and the big dog has been following me. There he is. He ran ahead of the road, past me, and now he sees that I've noticed him, so he's hiding. Kind of funny that a dog that big and strong is actually so nervous. He doesn't know how big he is. Or maybe he knows exactly how big he is, and that makes for a larger target if some annoying humans, usually small humans, decide to throw rocks at him, which does tend to happen too often for these poor dogs. I was hanging out by the river longer than I expected because I kept waiting for a bit of time with no traffic sounds. I just wanted the sound of the water gurgling. But for a small town, I think this is a common statement for all towns in Thailand. Small town, but very busy. A lot of traffic going every which way. So no matter how long I waited by that river, there was always a truck or a motorcycle going past. I think I'm coming up on the road that I picked out where I wanted to turn left. Continuing up this road, you can see ahead of me, it starts to climb, and this is the main road that heads towards the Dwa Hua Mod viewpoint, and then beyond there, I think it goes to the Pattaya or Palatha village, and I thought about going to that village today. It's a bit of a tourist village. It has waterfalls and other activities there. It's marked on the map as kind of a happening sort of place, so I thought I could go check out this village. But because of the threat of rain, I decided not to go. Plus, there is still this ongoing, lingering pandemic, and I doubt that the village is even open. If I got there, there would probably be barricades going into the village itself. and the waterfalls would probably be closed to visitors as well. And since I'm going to be on the scooter, whoa, river time. Check that out. The Umphang River, perhaps. Since I'm going to be on the scooter probably tomorrow for 6 or 7 hours, I thought I'd stay off the scooter today, give my body a break, and my ride tomorrow will be a bit more comfortable because of that. All right, a little bit of a video of this maybe would be nice. One thing I've learned over the years, if I may be allowed to babble a little bit, of course, you can't stop me. I'm going to babble anyway. But I do tend to take, in the past I would take a lot of pictures, and now of course I shoot a lot of video. And I learned over the years that if you want to take pictures, you have to have your camera in your hand. Like if your camera is in your knapsack and you bring it with you, chances are you'll never take it out of the knapsack because it's too much trouble. You see something that's kind of sort of interesting and you think, I should get out my camera and take a picture, but such a hassle getting it out of the bag, taking your knapsack off, opening the knapsack, starting the camera. So if you really do want to take some pictures, it's best to have the camera in your hands all the time. Now I've set myself up for weirdness because I'm shooting video with the GoPro, video of me, but I'm also using my Panasonic now to shoot scenery. And to do that, so I'm holding the Panasonic in my left hand and the GoPro in my right. So I'm like marching down the street, swinging a camera in each hand. And people are probably wondering, like, who in the world is that guy? He thinks he needs 2 cameras. How important does he think he is? But anyway, if I had this Panasonic in my knapsack, I probably wouldn't take any video of this because it doesn't look that amazing. But since the camera's already out, yeah, I'll shoot some video. It's easier to do. So always carry your camera in your hand if pictures and video are important to you. I was shooting all that video up on the road, and it was kind of hard to situate my tripod because there was no flat ground that I could use, just a fence. I didn't realize I could walk all the way down here to the riverbank. Got a sign here going back a few years, a bit worn out. And then there's the path that the river is carving. I've been hanging out down here by the river for a while, playing around with shooting some video, and I've started to figure out that this is a local and probably quite popular swimming spot. I mentioned the other day I ran into a man from Switzerland who works with a Swiss foundation here. I ran into him again the other day just on the street. We chatted for a minute, and we were talking about the rain and how the rivers are flooded or full of water, and he said he and his family wanted to go to the river to go swimming, but when they got there, the water had almost reached such high levels that it reached a bridge going across the road. And he said that the water was a little bit too fast for them really to go swimming safely. And I'm wondering now whether he was talking about this spot, because I couldn't figure out which river or which place he was talking about. But here, there's a tree over there with a ladder built into it, so you can climb up into the tree and jump off. And I noticed that on this tree right behind me, there's actually a fluorescent light built, like attached to the tree. So this place is actually lit up at night. So maybe it's a popular swimming spot day and night. I just noticed this house behind me. It's got quite an interesting design. I've been hearing the roosters calling from here the whole time I've been at the river. But have you noticed how it's all up on stilts, and it has a veranda out in the back there, quite nice with a roof over top. And right underneath this section of the house, there's also a set of tables and chairs and benches protected by that part of the house built on the poles. Yeah, on the pillars. It's kind of cool. Yeah, little farming house. So I can go in that direction or head in along here beside the river. I'm going to go beside the river for a while, and then I think the road, I can follow it and loop around and then come back on this road. I think there's more houses and more people off in that direction. Straight ahead of me is more, yeah, just a bit less populated following the river. But I think I'm going to shoot just a few seconds of video over here. It's quite a nice scene. I always like to get the rice in the foreground and then the hills in the background. Oh. Whew. Well, the struggle is real, as they say. Whew. Makes you sweaty, I'll tell you that. And every time I have this mask on with my glasses, you know, of course I fog up my glasses and I can't see anything. The struggle is real. And with my Panasonic, I'm now suffering from a whole series of memory card errors. The card I'm using now keeps returning an error. And apparently all the video I just shot has all been lost because the card is unreadable or something. And I don't have that many memory cards left. All right, what's going on here? Yeah, I'm running out of memory cards because I've shot a lot of video here. And I haven't been able to copy them over to anything else. So I guess that's the end of the life cycle for that memory card. Once you start getting memory card errors, you may be able to reformat it and get it to work again, you know, but you can never really fully trust it ever again. It's going to fail on you again. But now, I can't remember what's on this particular memory card, whether it's full or if it's full, what's on here. Yeah, it says memory card full, so it's got a bunch of stuff on it. I don't really want to delete it yet. I may have a use for that. So let's put that into my special, these memory cards are important slot in my camera bag. I've got one more memory card left. Wonder if Umphang has a camera store. And of course, I'm running out of memory cards because I've been shooting in 4K. I mean, that's why. 4K fills up your memory cards so fast. Boy, that is one loud rooster. So let's, oh boy, yeah, I want to keep this stuff as well. So I may be stuck. But I do have this memory card, the one that keeps saying it's faulty. Let's reformat it. I've already reformatted it and it still gave me an error. Let's try it again, see what happens. Format. Delete all data from the memory card? Yes. Please wait. It's working now. And it says I have 15 minutes on the card. And I know there's more than 15 minutes available. So I don't know why the camera keeps telling me only 15 minutes. But now I have to rebuild it. Got to put my Swiss Arca plate back on. And then reattach it to the tripod. Ta-da! Now we should be good to go for a little while. As I mentioned before, this is the only tripod I have, and that's as high as it can go. So, for example, it can't see over top of the bush here. So if I want to take video of this scene over here, I have no choice but to hand hold the camera. Funny thing, just as I was talking about running out of memory for the Panasonic, the GoPro stopped recording. The memory card was full on the GoPro as well. And I don't have any memory cards left for the GoPro either. I've been shooting a lot of video here in Umphang, and I can't really delete the old footage until I use it in a video and post it to YouTube. So all my memory cards are filling up, but I managed to scrounge about 20 minutes worth of memory on this card. So that's what I have right now. Yeah, the sun came out a little bit and gave some nice light over this rice field. And I'm always listening for the sound of running water, and I heard some over here. So I came over, and they got a bit of an irrigation system working to let some of the water drain away out of this field. And I set up my Panasonic to capture some of this, and thought I'd do the same thing with the GoPro. Why not? And while I was standing here, I'm still listening to all the roosters, and I noticed this coconut tree over here. So I thought I'd shoot some video of the bundle of green coconuts up there. It's definitely quite a harvest up there. I'm still walking around the same rice field, but this looks like a nice perspective for a bit of vista, video vista, a scenic vista. I find towns like Umphang that are surrounded by hills to be interesting because Umphang itself is right there. We're looking right at the town. It's right at the base of those hills. But when you're inside the town, you're too close and you don't actually see those hills. You don't know they're there when you're inside Umphang proper. And it's only till I get here, like maybe half a kilometer outside city limits, suddenly, oh, look at that, look at those hills. And now I'm interested in climbing up there. I've never gone into those small hills right beside the town. I never really think of them when I'm in the town because you just don't see them. They don't rise up above the buildings that are beside you. Interesting. Scenic vistas, look at that. And I honestly was not expecting the weather to hold for this long. I didn't think I'd have this much time walking around, but even now it's about 12:30 and the skies are still looking quite promising. Look at that blue over there, amazing. And yet the forecast was pretty much 99% rain all day. Abandon all hope, ye who were hoping for sunshine. Wow. Such a beautiful setting. I just spotted something interesting ahead of me on the road. That looks like a kind of trommel. I'm a big fan of Gold Rush and the various spin-off shows from Gold Rush. And in that show, you see a lot of trommels and other machinery for sifting stone and rock looking for gold. And that looks exactly like the same kind of machine. I wonder what they're trying to get out of this trommel. Do they mine for gold around here? Certainly hadn't heard about it. And there's the trommel, got a little bit closer. And I think I know what they're doing. They're not mining for gold. They're basically mining for stone and gravel. So they're basically, I'm assuming they make cement and gravel here. Concrete, basically. So they dig up ground and then run it through this trommel, and all the small, tiny pieces fall out, and then all the large rocks end up in a pile over here. So they're separating the small stones from the big stones. And then I guess they're using it in construction. Because as you can see, there's a whole bunch of Not a whole bunch, but there's some heavy equipment in there, cement trucks, things like that. And it makes sense that this gravel trommel operation is right beside the river. As you can see, I'm right next to it again. Because with all these sorts of trommels, you tend to need a lot of water. So you need a water source. At least you do when you're mining gold. If you're mining gravel itself, maybe you don't need quite as much water, but I think you do. Yeah, there's definitely, you can see a big water pipe leading right to this machine. But again, as with many things I see in Thailand, it kind of strikes me as abandoned. I mean, it doesn't look like it's been used for a very long time. And this whole operation is quiet. There's no activity. No trucks going in and out. And there you go. Straight shot right down the trommel. I'm trying to figure out how I continue walking from here. I think the road continues on the other side of this gravel yard, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to walk in that direction and see. First, I want to take a look at this other set of machinery over here. Basically a conveyor belt of some kind, which they would use something like this to feed material into a trommel or a shaker deck. Oh, that one has a shaker deck, which is another style for this kind of work. Very cool. Look at that. Oh, look at that. So this is the other end of this building. They actually have 3 belts coming out. So maybe they have a system in there that divides the stone into very specific sizes. So very small parts right here in the middle, larger stone over there on the left, and then on the right, a different type of stone. So they're basically separating the material into different sizes. Very cool. And then this caterpillar would be used to scoop it up and load it into trucks. There's the river again down there, moving fast. And I was waiting for the dogs to appear. There's one over there, but they seem to be leaving me alone. And here's the road leading out. I think I can go this way. Look at this beast. You can smell the engine, so it is, I think it is operational. It was running at some point recently, but I wouldn't want to go very far on the road with those tires. That is a beast. There's a new show on right now, actually. It's not really Gold Rush. It's called Winter's Fortune, or Gold Rush Winter's Fortune, because it's focusing on how all these gold miners prepare during the winter for the upcoming short summer mining season. And a big part of the show, this is a brand new thing Gold Rush is doing. And what's the guy's name? The really famous miner there. He's Dutch origin, like me. Kind of a big burly guy with a huge beard, kind of rough around the edges. Not the most polite person you've ever come across. A hard-dealing, hard-living, hard-working gold miner. Beats, Tony Beats. Very well-known name in the Gold Rush world. But he has big goals for this season, and he decided to invest something like $4 or $5 million in new equipment. So the very last episode, he took delivery of a D11 bulldozer, brand new, straight out of the factory. Came disassembled, and he had to put it together. But it cost something like $3.5 million, I think, just for that one bulldozer. So as they say, you got to spend money to make money, and Tony Beats was taking that adage to heart. So yeah, I'm on the other side of that operation. That was very cool. That was worth the price of going for a walk. And I have another beautiful view off in this direction. heading back towards the hills there in the Umphang River Valley. And before I leave here, I just want to take a look at the river down here, because I could see it from a short distance away, just how fast it was moving. Yeah. I wonder what the rules are here, how strictly they're enforced, the environmental rules, because that is a big deal in the world of gold rush, where all these miners are regulated very carefully by environmental organizations from the government, especially where water is concerned. So they have to get a water license and permission to be able to draw water from a natural source and use it. And then they have to clean it to very precise standards in order to let the water go back into the river. And when they're finished mining, they have to follow strict rules about restoring the land to a certain extent so that it will recover. How effective all that is, I don't know, but these miners in Gold Rush are constantly being shut down because they lost their water license for one reason or another. I wonder if the same thing happens here. Look at this day. And here's a cat. When I walked by, I glanced into the cab. And you know, this is a workhorse. Check that out. Tony's new D11 dozer doesn't look like this. It's like nicer than most people's houses inside that dozer, and has a heated seat, you know, all kinds of suspension and fancy touchscreen controls. This is old school. Yeah, the front window smashed out long ago. But of course here, you wouldn't need a heated seat. The equivalent would be a sealed cab with some air conditioning. That's probably what they would want here. In keeping with my stories or my thoughts about the big houses you come across, look at this. Right beside the gravel operation. Beautiful wooden house. Very nice. Has quite a large property attached, and then another house back there. Look at that one. Much smaller, but very quaint, very, very beautiful. And then over here on this side, I love these houses. They just strike me as very livable places. The open air quality, big veranda, stairs leading up on both sides, and then that big area underneath, sheltered from the rain and the sun. Yeah, you can see a boy there with a hammer. As a kid, I mean, a house like that would be amazing. It's like your own personal fort. Swiss Family Robinson style. Coconut trees right outside your window. It's amazing. Restaurant over here. Oh, I think I know of this place. I've heard the name. Let me look on Google Maps. I think this is quite a famous spot. I was right. This is Auntie's Kitchen. You can see it on Google Maps if you type in Auntie's Kitchen. I've always wanted to come down here to grab a meal, but I never did. But of course, with the dark red zone restrictions in place, you can't sit down. Probably has takeaway, but it's closed. Unfortunate. It's another interesting house. Again, I like the open air quality to these places, assuming one sleeps under a mosquito net. Oh, some kind of perhaps an NGO, connected organization, library and learning space. Xavier House. Sawasdee krap. Oh. Another beautiful view of the countryside. And as I keep saying, I'm still pretty much right inside Umphang. The town itself is just to the left there, on the other side of those buildings and the road there. Lovely place. Oh, what is going on here? This must be some sort of a farming operation. What do they call this? Aquaculture? Fish farming? And there's some nets over here, and inside the netting might be able to see what it is they're growing here. Bamboo, do you think it's safe? Well, if I fall through, I'm sure I'll only go up to my knees. So what's in there? I don't see anything moving. Don't even see any tiny fish, tadpoles, nothing. But I see a lot of ripples over there in that other one. So there's something over there. I just don't see any ripples over here. Oh, look at that setting. I think I'm going to set up my Panasonic. Use up some of my precious memory card and capture some of this. But before I do, let's take a closer look here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, fish. I can just make out a whole bunch of fish inside that net. And I imagine they grow, let them grow to a certain size when they can defend themselves, and then they'll release them into this larger pond area. Perhaps that's what's going on here. Raise them as babies in the net and then let them out. Look at that view. Again, looking towards the viewpoint up there just ahead of me. I just turned off the Panasonic, finished shooting some video of this scene here. Really beautiful. Love it with those dark clouds moving in. Don't always love it when the dark clouds dump a bunch of rain on my head, but they certainly make the scenery complete. And shot some video of that coconut tree over there. And I'm coming up on an intersection. I can turn right and head further out into the countryside, or left and kind of follow the same route back into town. And I think I'm going to head to the left and see what it looks like. I think this road will follow the other side of the field that I was on earlier. Look at this house over here. Very nice. Just love the ability to raise your entire house 8 feet off the ground, put a bunch of posts underneath it, and there you have it. Look at that massive living space. Park your car, set up a barbecue. Kids can play down there on their skateboards or whatever they feel like doing. A great little house. And right beside the river. It's always nice. All right, time for a map check. See exactly where I am and which direction I should go in. Wow, look at that. Green is so bright it practically burns into your eyeballs. Well, I'm going to go straight ahead for now. See what's in this direction, and then maybe I'll turn around and come back to that road there. Can't take my eyes off this field over here though. Look at that. Golf courses around the world wish they had greens this green. I think the road I was following along the river is just over there on the other side of those trees. And when I was struggling with all of my memory card issues, it was right over there ahead of me. So I might actually turn back and go down that other road just to see something new. Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back this way. Past another very nice house here. This is where that dog lives. The one that you've been hearing barking at me. This beautiful wooden construction. So nice. Nice veranda, a little porch up there. Another thought on my mind as I'm walking around Umphang is that I think I misjudged all the new policies coming out of the government here in Thailand regarding all the restrictions. Because I was reading these articles that they were lifting a lot of restrictions as of September 1st. And I found the language quite encouraging because they shifted towards this policy of learning to live with the virus, trying to get back to some semblance of normal life while making efforts to keep the virus under control, as opposed to trying to eradicate it, which they are concluding is probably not a realistic goal, at least for now. So I thought, oh, great. Restaurants will be open and coffee shops will be open, and that will make a big difference to my daily life. But it turns out it's a lot more complicated than that, because these restaurants will be allowed to open, but something like, I think, 50% capacity, but only if all of the restaurant staff are fully vaccinated. Customers also have to be vaccinated in order to sit on the inside. And the staff have to get an antibody test every week. And only if they meet all those requirements, then can the restaurant open. So you might as well just say restaurants are still closed, because those requirements are so extensive that few places, certainly few places out here, could meet them. And even if they could, I've heard restaurant owners saying that it puts such a financial burden on them that they couldn't open anyway under those circumstances. So the lifting of restrictions is not quite as liberating as I thought they would be. They're lifting the restrictions, but only under a very broad and extensive set of requirements that have to be met. So, oh well, my optimism was dashed. Still walking along, passing by a number of beautiful residences and businesses. There's one across the street, again, all shuttered, but made from wood. Another shop and home over there, and one right behind me, made entirely out of wood. I don't think I've walked down this particular street before, not that I can remember. And maybe not just from this direction, because it doesn't feel familiar. But look at this, off on the right, a temple. Looks like a beautiful wooden structure here on the left. I don't think I've seen this temple listed on Google Maps. So I'm going to walk around the outside for a minute just to see where the main entrance is and get a sense of what the place is like. Looks like this fence follows around the temple property. Here's a very beautiful image, small shrine with a Buddha image there. Very lush think there's the main entrance to the temple over there. Hello. Swadee krab. Oh. Yeah, I know exactly where I am. There's my coffee truck. And right there is 7-Eleven. So this is the main street. So I would have gone down here a million times, but I guess I never looked over at the temple before. That's one thing about having a scooter. It does change how you interact with your world. You can go farther, but perhaps you don't pay as much attention to the details. Particularly compared to when you're just walking on foot. So here's the entrance to the temple. Oh yeah, I think I noticed it as I rode past, but I didn't actually think to go inside and check the place out. To be honest, I wasn't sure whether the temple grounds would be open to visitors, which is why I hesitated. But I don't see any barriers, and I'm sure someone will tell me in short order if I'm not allowed to be back here. But let's take a look at the main temple building here. Oh, I also was thinking I wouldn't come in just because the sun is really beating down out in the open. But here it's quite comfortable. Got some shady trees. Oh, look at the door. Wooden doors with a carved wooden scene. Oh, spider web. Big spider web. Let's go this way. Here's the other side of the temple. Yeah. Oh, okay. All the window shutters have carved wooden scenes on them as well. There's one there. Yeah, each one seems to be hand carved and a different scene. Okay, time to leave the temple and maybe stop in at 7-Eleven for a cold drink. I think that's what's happening next in my life.